Hello, and thank you for your interest in the Federal Home Loan Bank Topeka's online rental application process. I'm Erica Skinner, and I'm a Housing and Community Development Specialist. All right, let's get started with the presentation. The information covered here should help you complete the online application using the online system. We'll cover how to register, navigate within the system, and how to submit an application. I will identify potential difficulties in the system as well as touch on a few scoring criteria that will help you maximize your score. I'll also give a brief description of feasibility. I've collected a few items that I think are important to know to fill out the application. The page will time out after approximately 20 minutes, so be sure you're able to complete each page before stepping away. You will lose the information on the screen if you don't. There will be input fields marked with stars and diamonds as you're filling out the application. Star or asterisk fields are required before you can save the page. The inputs marked with diamonds must be completed before you can submit the application. The system will let you save the page, but you won't actually be able to submit the application until all diamond fields are filled out. It's very important to click Save before navigating away from a page. You will lose all of the data on that page if you do not hit the Save button first. You'll have to get accustomed to not hitting Enter or Return on the keyboard. The system works primarily using mouse clicks. Also, you do not want to use the back button in the browser. Using the Next and Previous keys are your best bet. You can also use the tabs and drop-downs at the top of the page. Finally, there will be documents required to be uploaded in the system. You can find templates that will be helpful in meeting the documentation requirements on the website under the Application tab. To access the online system, please visit our website. There will be a link toward the top of the main page of the website as shown here, as well as the Application tab. You can also find the AHP online user guide on our website. This is basically an instructional manual for filling out an application in the new system. Let's move on to registration. Once you've reached the online system, you'll be prompted to sign in. Since you are sponsors, you will choose the sponsor sign-in. Keep in mind, members are the banks or credit unions working with you on your application. In the future, you'll enter your username and password here. However, the first time you log in, you'll select Sign Up Now. As you fill out your username and password, the system will display the requirements. Enter a username and password that meets these requirements. Fill in information as indicated on the screen. If you're a consultant, you will want to include the information for your own organization, not the information for the organization you're completing the application on behalf of. Please note, all emails you receive from the system will go to the email address you enter here. When all information is entered, select Send Verification Code. You'll receive the verification code using the email address you entered. If you copy and paste the verification code, please make sure there are no spaces before or after the code or it will not work. After the email address is verified and all information is entered, select Create. Next, you'll verify your phone number. If you're using a cell phone, you can select Send Code to have the code sent to you in a text message. If you're using a landline or would rather receive a call on your cell phone, select Call Me. Follow the prompts in the call to verify your phone number. If you selected Send Code, this screen will be next. It'll ask you to enter the code you received via text message. After verifying your phone number, you'll be taken to this screen where you'll enter the information for the organization you represent. Again, if you are a consultant, you will want to include the information for your own organization, not the information for the organization you are completing the application for. You'll have to enter the zip code +4. Use the USPS link to find the zip +4 if you don't know it. Hit Lookup, and the city, county, state, congressional district, census tract, and CBSA will fill in. After everything with the star is filled in, hit Save. Next is selecting the organization. If you are the first to register, choose Create New Organization and click Next. If you are not the first in the organization to register, your organization will have already been entered and you can choose Select an Existing Organization. Search for your organization and once you've found it, select it on the list, then click Next. This screen will look different depending on whether you created a new organization or selected an existing one. The screen displayed here is a result of selecting Create New Organization. Fill in the information requested. Again, you will need to have the zip code +4 in order to complete the information. The organization type will be Project Sponsor if you are the sponsor organization, or Other if you are a consultant. After you've entered all information and looked up the zip +4, you can go to the next screen. If you selected an existing organization, your screen will come pre-populated. Review the information and make any changes necessary. When you are done, click Next. Next, you'll enter the service area for your proposed project. Follow the prompts to select the states if your service area is multi-state or counties if your service area is in a single state. Finally, you'll review and submit the information provided. After reviewing the information on the screen for accuracy, select Back to correct inaccurate information or click Submit if everything is correct. You'll see the confirmation screen showing your organization's information was successfully submitted. Click Finish. This completes the registration process. The screen you will see will depend on whether you registered prior to the round opening or after. This slide shows the My Application screen. This will be displayed after the round opens. Prior to round opening, the screen will say My Projects. If you see either of these screens, you've successfully registered. Now I'll give you a brief overview of how to navigate within the online system. First, I'd like to recommend that you begin with the first screen and work your way through the application by clicking Next. However, if you need to get back to the home screen, you can click on Home in the top right corner of the screen. This will take you to the home page of your application. If you would like to go to a different application you're working on, you'll need to click on My Applications at the top right of the screen. There are several places that will take you to these same pages, but the way I described here are the easiest. Let's move on to initiating an application. When the round opens, you can go to Initiate Application under My Applications. You'll start the application by entering the application information. Enter the project name and project type. The activity type will be acquisition, new construction, rehabilitation, or any combination of those. There's an example of help text on this slide. If you click on the question mark, text will appear that will help you complete the application. Enter the zip code and click Lookup to populate the city, county, and state. Then click Next. Next, you'll select the lead contacts. Anyone who registered with the sponsor's organization can be selected as a lead contact. You must select at least one, but can select up to two. The lead contacts will be the individuals from the sponsor organization most involved in the project. They'll receive automated emails from the system and have the ability to approve the application. If someone from your organization is missing that should be a lead contact, make sure they register prior to initiating the application. You can start the process over again if needed. When you select input rules, the organization does not have to be the same as the sponsor organization. You'll utilize the input rule if you have a consultant completing the application for you. The individual selected as an input role will have the ability to fill out the pages of the application but cannot approve it. The input roles will receive automated emails. This role is only available during application. You can select up to 3, but you don't have to select an input role. Next, you'll select the member contacts. Remember, the member is the bank or credit union sponsoring your application. Search for your member, select at least one, but up to 3 individuals from the member organization to be contacts. The member contacts will receive emails and can approve the application. Now you'll review the information on the Review and Submit screen. If the information is incorrect, click Back until you reach the screen with the incorrect information. Correct the information, then click Next until you return to Review and Submit. When all information is correct, click Submit to complete the initiation process. You can now click Finish on the confirmation screen. The system will return you to the My Application screen. This is also the screen that will display when you log into the system each time. To begin filling out the application, click on the application number. You'll be taken to Application Home. There is a key at the bottom of the page which describes the status of each page of the application. Red X's will display on the pages where you have not filled any information in. Yellow check marks will display on the pages that have been filled in but do not have all required information to submit the application. The green check mark will display on the pages where all required fields have had information entered. If FHLBank modified information on the screen, the exclamation point will display. Start the application by clicking the screen at the top of the list, Application Details, Application Information. I won't go over every page on the application, but I'll cover the pages with special functionality or items that I think need clarification. So we'll move on to site information. You'll see screens that have a box which, when clicked, will open up information that must be filled in. So on this screen, you'll click Add Site to complete the requirements. To complete this slide, you'll need to know your zip code +4. If you do not know it, you can use this link to look it up. You'll enter the address and the zip +4 will display as it does in bold on the screen here. After you click Add Site, you'll answer whether or not the address of the site is known. This means the address has been assigned. You're not able to enter intersections when you click Yes. This screen will display if you know the address. Fill in the information. Once you have the zip +4, select Lookup to have the system look up the city, county, state, etc. Answer all questions on the screen, then click Update Site. The steps are the same for projects that are scattered site. You'll be asked how many sites are in the project and will fill out information on each site. If your sites have not been assigned addresses at this time, you can enter the address in zip +4 that is closest to the project site. After you've added your site or sites, you will save, then hit Next. It's sometimes easy to forget to save since you've already hit Update Site, so be sure to remember to save or you'll lose your work.
2021 brings a change in scoring priorities and commitments. Please refer to the 2021 AHP Implementation Plan and 2021 AHP Application User Guide for more information regarding the required documentation needed to submit in the application.
Let's move on to financial feasibility. Before we talk about the requirements of the system, I want to make sure you're aware of some training videos that are available on our website. You can find the training videos at www.fhlb.topeka.com/AHP-training-videos, and these videos will help guide you through preparing the feasibility information.
The first feasibility page on the online system is Import Spreadsheet. On this tab, you will upload the completed feasibility workbook. You can see here that there was an error in the workbook that I uploaded. It tells me the number of units in the feasibility workbook must equal the number of units and income categories on the targeting screen. To fix this error, check both the targeting screen in the online system and the rental project worksheet in the feasibility workbook to determine if the number of units and the income targeting categories match. Make the correction and re-upload the feasibility workbook. That was just one example of the errors you may see. If you are having trouble finding the error in your workbook, please let us know and we'll help you out. You'll know your workbook was filled out in a way that allowed it to upload once you see this screen. It'll say your changes have been saved to the system. You will also answer the remaining questions and upload the documentation as applicable to your project prior to moving to the next page. I wanted to point out that there is a lot of information that is pulled from the feasibility workbook on this screen. When we're reviewing your feasibility information, we will be utilizing the information within the feasibility workbook itself, not what is displayed on this page. So don't worry about reviewing any of the information that populates here. Next, you'll move on to the Feasibility Analysis tab. You'll have to explain if there are guideline violations for any guidelines that are checked in the system. The system does not check all feasibility guidelines, so it's important to fully explain guideline violations on the last tab of the feasibility workbook. If you don't have any issues here, it means you are within guidelines for those guidelines checked by the system. Click Explain to enter your explanation needed for a guideline violation. The details of what the guideline is will display here. Enter your explanation in the box and click Update Feasibility Issue. After all feasibility issues have been explained, click Save, then you can move on to the next screen. The next tab is the Commitment Letters tab. You'll have a place to upload information for all sources except for the AHP subsidy. For LIHTC projects, attach the documentation showing the application was submitted or approved. There will be a separate place to upload the LIHTC application. I'll show you that soon. To attach the documentation, you will start out by clicking Attach. You'll attach a commitment letter or documentation showing an application was submitted for each source of funds. You will browse, locate the document on your computer, then select Update Commitment Letter. Repeat this until all sources have documentation attached. Next, you'll answer the questions in the green boxes. Additional questions in the green box will open up if Yes is selected. If No is selected, it will look as it does here. This slide reflects what the system will look like if Yes is selected for each question. Upload the documentation requested, including the LIHTC application here. Answer the questions asked and click Save before moving on. The Rehabilitation Information tab will only display for projects that have chosen rehabilitation as an activity type. This page is self-explanatory. Answer the questions asked and upload the documentation requested. Sponsor role is one of the next tabs. Sponsor role applies to all projects, not just those that went for points for a nonprofit or governmental sponsor. This page requires you update the sponsor experience form. You can find this in the Application tab of the AHP website. The primary developer page is very simple if the sponsor is also the primary developer. If that's the case, you will select Yes, then move on to the next page. If the sponsor and primary developer are not the same entity, additional questions will display. On the Role Selection tab, you'll identify which roles are in your project team. Answer yes or no on each one, then describe the selection process. The Team Members tab will require you give information for each of the roles you identified on the Role Selection tab. You'll start this process by clicking Edit. You will then enter the information for the consultant, for example, then click Update Team Member. Once all roles have been described, save and hit Next. You can see here that all roles have been described because the entire table is filled in. The Market Study tab will start out with one question, asking if a third-party market study has been completed within the current or previous calendar year. If you say yes, additional questions will open up and an upload box will become available for you to upload the market study. Please only attach the executive summary and signature pages. If you do not have a market study, you'll upload the rental needs assessment, which you will download and complete from the Applications tab of the AHP website. The final page of the application is Project Timeline. You will not be held to the dates you list here. It is speculative and for informational purposes only. There are 5 upload boxes at the bottom of the project timeline page. This is your last opportunity to upload documentation. It is for anything you think is important for us to review that you did not find a place for previously. You don't have to upload anything if you've provided all documentation within the application. Because this is the last page of the application, there's a Home button rather than a Next button. After you've saved, click Home to return to Application Home. When you're on the application homepage, you'll want to review the application for any yellow check marks or red X's. If there are any shown, select the name of the page to navigate back to that page on the application. Satisfy all required fields on that page, then go back to Application Home by finding that option under the Application tab at the top left, or clicking Home at the top right. When all pages have green check marks and you have completed all information required, you will sponsor approve the application. Do this by selecting Sponsor Approval from the Applications drop-down menu. Read through the certification, check the box to acknowledge that you agree with the certification, then click Approve. Please note, once you approve the application will change to Sponsor Approved, and you cannot make any changes unless the member rejects it. After hitting Approve, you'll be directed to this page. Here you can see that the application is ready for member approval. You do not need to contact the member to let them know because an email will automatically be sent to them. If the member approves or rejects the application, you'll receive an email letting you know so you are aware of what your next step is. This slide includes the automated emails generated for the application. The individuals you selected when initiating your application will receive the emails. When an application is initiated, the lead sponsor, input, and member contacts will receive an email. This is the same for sponsor approval, and member rejection. If the member rejects the application, please contact the member to discuss what changes are necessary. Sign back into the application, click on the name of the page, and make the necessary corrections. Then save your updated information and approve the application again. Hopefully this is the only time you'll have to make changes before the member approves it, but there is no limit to how many times the member can reject an application. However, the member must approve the application within the time frame of the funding round. See our website for critical dates, such as the round closing date, as it changes from year to year. Finally, if an organization edits or switches the sponsor or member, the lead sponsor contact and member contact originally on the application will be notified. Because there is a significant amount of sensitive information, I'm sure you might be curious on the security of the application. FHLBank has a strict vetting process for the vendors it uses. For information about security, please visit the links here to visit our corporate governance website and Amazon Web Services. You can also visit our website for secured online information. And that concludes today's training. I've included contact information for some of my colleagues should you have any questions. We can give technical assistance up until the round closes. Again, thank you for your interest in our program and for your commitment to affordable housing. Have a great day.